All right, everyone, it's time for some hyperbole from little Joe Biden. Yes, he's got an insane new warning about Trump at that fundraiser with Obama that he did the other day. One of his comments here is extremely interesting. It's also provably wrong. And that's, he said, well, the scariest thing is that if Donald is reelected, he's going to have two more upside-down flags flying in the Supreme Court. There are several problems. First, you're insinuating that a couple more justices are going to croak in the next 4 years. So is this a telling statement? Because, you know, he is an insider. He does happen to control the FBI almost directly at this point, which should scare the living bejesus out of you. So that's number one. Number two, on the SCOTUS level, I found it fascinating that he would use that quip. And he shouldn't have used it. Because if you look at Trump's appointees, they're no Alitos. Alito and Clarence Thomas have clashed with Kavanaugh. They've clashed with Coney Barrett, and they've certainly clashed on some issues, oddly enough, with Gorsuch. Now, Gorsuch was a good replacement for Scalia. Similar mentality in most ways. But then on any issue that involves Native American land disputes or anything like that, he sounds like he's got a pride flag in his living room. These people are not the same kind of conservative as Alito. It's simply wrong. I don't know. I don't understand why people would actually have a problem with it. The current incarnation of the Supreme Court has generally been rather restrained. Sure, Roe v. Wade is gone because it's a states' rights issue. You've got Bruin. It's being roundly ignored by half the states in the United States at this moment, which they shouldn't be allowed to do. They should expedite some of those decisions and strike down some of the anti-gunnery. I mean, they made their case fairly clear in the Bruin decision. It's pretty black and white. It's about as easy to understand as the Second Amendment. It's just that people pretend that it's up in the air, that it's up for debate. The binding Supreme Court decision can simply be ignored by lower courts, and apparently nothing happens. I think that they're just punting, kicking the can down the road. This warning is insane. The idea of saying that if Trump is reelected, it'll be a bloodbath, everything will fall apart, institutions matter. No, the whole point to electing Trump in 2016 was to rip apart elements of the institution. That's the whole point. The people said that the institution, the establishment, is sick, it's ailing, it doesn't currently function the way that it should be functioning, and so we want to reform it. Trump represents a soft reset. I keep telling both Trump fans and people with TDS, they don't seem to understand this. Some of Trump's core fans seem to think that he's literally going to go God Emperor mode. I do agree that after having been convicted on bullshit charges in a court, he is likely to break a lot more toys in round 2 than in round 1. I would say that. He's got carte blanche on the border because there's already a binding court precedent. He can conduct all the diplomacy he wants. A lot of things can be done by executive action when the Republicans in Congress inevitably try to stonewall him. And certainly there are things that he can do that'll be easy. The Republicans won't stand against the extension of his tax cuts, for example. They'll nitpick about a couple details. Ultimately, he'll get 99% of what he wants. That one's been popular, for example. So he does have that expanded ability, I think, in a second term. Plus, he doesn't have to worry about what he does affecting re-election because he can't be re-elected again. Well, that's always a good thing because he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. So he can do zany stuff and not worry as much. They've tried to remove him from office multiple times and they've failed each time. So I think he'll just sort of shrug and be smug about it. But the idea that he is going to break all of the toys and America will crash and burn, we'll leave NATO, and all of these things. Everything will be terrible. Well, Trump's first term was pretty good. Yeah, you had the unfortunate last year with lockdownerism, which was mainly gubernatorial in nature. Trump did nothing to stand in the way of that until months later, which was very regrettable. He did that for political reasons, knowing he'd be severely punished by the voters if he didn't. Because people were panicking. But it was unfortunate. But prior to that, everything is fine. Low unemployment. Inflation was under control, unlike now. In fact, it was negative inflation for several quarters there during, I think, year 2. We weren't in any new wars, and we got tax relief, and the border was more secure, if not fully secure. Where's the bloodbath? Where's the massacre? Where's the carnage? About the only thing that he did that could worry the institution was his, like, 10-to-1 deregulation slurry there. You know, his executive order saying, okay, if a federal bureau passes a new regulation, you've got to score a bunch of others off the books. Well, again, mild reform, so you're talking about a soft reset to like 1982 or something. Well, you could do worse than that. You know, maybe there will be bungees again, and little pink short skirts and hula hoops and all those other things associated with the Pee Wee Herman era. I don't see the problem. I think that this is hyperbolic in nature. Not that anything that Joe Biden says about Trump tends not to be hyperbolic. Obama weighing in saying similar shit. Well, we've got to come around our core values. You may not agree with Democrats, but things like basic honesty. Show me an honest politician. No, Trump is not honest. Of course not. He's a politician and a tycoon. Neither's Obama. Neither's Biden. Hell, not even somebody like Ron Paul is completely honest. They don't exist. They're in politics. Most of these people have been lawyers before. Yeah, they're real honest people. That's about all. Peace out.